Tonight, I want to teach you the strangest law in all of psychology, and I want to begin by catching you in the act of breaking it. Right now, somewhere under your stillness, you are trying to fall asleep. Trying the way you would try at anything, applying yourself, monitoring your progress, checking whether it is working yet. And you have noticed on 1,000 nights like this one, the maddening result. The harder you try to sleep, the more awake you become. Effort, which builds houses and passes exams and gets everything else in your life done, does the exact opposite of working here. It backfires. And here is what tonight is about. That backfiring is not a quirk of sleep. It is a law, one of the deepest in human experience, and it governs far more than your nights. The harder you chase happiness, the unhappier the chase makes you. The harder you grasp at calm, the tighter your chest becomes. The more you demand confidence of yourself, the more it shrinks. The philosopher Alan Watts gave it a name that has never been improved on. He called it the backwards law. And there is something almost fated about who he was, because Watts, who died half a century ago, has become, without anyone planning it, the most slept-to thinker on the internet. Millions of people night after night drift off to recordings of that unhurried English voice explaining why the universe cannot be gripped. He would have found this perfect. The philosopher of not trying, succeeding beyond every striving self-help empire. At the 1 hour when nobody can strive, among the one audience that has finally, by sheer exhaustion, put the hammer down. His ideas work at night because night is where his subject lives. And tonight, his best idea is going to work on you. The things you want most in life cannot be pursued directly. They arrive, all of them, only as byproducts, only sideways, only when you stop reaching. And tonight, slowly, gently, you are going to learn how to stop reaching, starting with the very thing you are reaching for right now. Because you know the chases, do you not? You have run every one of them. The happiness chase, where the vacation must be enjoyed, where you stand in front of the sunset, checking whether you are feeling it enough, where the more precisely you engineer a perfect evening, the more strangely hollow it lands. The calm chase, where you download the app and approach your own relaxation like a performance review, breathing correctly, posture correct, quietly furious that serenity has not arrived on schedule. The confidence chase, where you monitor yourself for signs of it, and the monitoring is precisely what dissolves it. The love chase, where wanting someone's affection too visibly is the one thing guaranteed to strain it. And the sleep chase, tonight's chase, the one with the clock math in it. If I fall asleep now, I get 5 hours. Now 4.5. You know that arithmetic. Everyone who has ever chased sleep knows that arithmetic, and everyone who has done it knows the bitter joke underneath. The counting is the wakefulness. The chase is the insomnia. The hunter is the prey. Walk through one of those nights with me, the full anatomy of it, because seeing the machine from outside is the beginning of being free of it. It starts reasonably. You are tired, you go to bed, you expect the usual drift. But tonight matters. There is something tomorrow, so a small flag goes up somewhere. Important to sleep well tonight. That flag is the whole catastrophe, though it looks like nothing, because now sleep has become a task, and tasks get monitored, and a corner of your mind clocks in for the night shift. 20 minutes pass. The monitor files its first report, not asleep yet. You hear the report, and you respond the only way a competent person knows how. You try harder. You fix your position. You breathe the way the article said. You lie extra still, performing sleep for an audience of yourself. Another report. Still awake. And now comes the arithmetic, the glowing clock, the division problem, 6 hours if I drop off now. And with the arithmetic comes the first flush of something warm and urgent in the chest, which is the exact opposite of what sleep needs. And some part of you knows that, which produces alarm about the alarm. Do you see the spiral now from outside? Each level of trying generates the evidence of its own failure, which demands more trying. By 2 in the morning, you are lying in the dark, working harder than you did all day, furious at a biological process, negotiating with your own brainstem. And the joke, the tender, absurd joke, is that the entire tower was built on one small flag. Important to sleep well tonight. Remove the flag and there was never anything else wrong. On the nights that do not matter, when tomorrow is empty and you could not care less, what happens? You sleep like a stone. Of course you do. The law has been showing you its own solution your whole life on every unimportant night. Sleep comes when it stops being important. Tonight, we are going to make it unimportant on purpose. So tonight, while you lie here with, for once, absolutely nothing to achieve, I want to walk you through the whole backwards law. Where it operates, why it operates, what the psychologists found when they finally tested it in laboratories, and how the wisest people who ever thought about it learned to live on its terms instead of against them. Because there is a way to live with a law like this, and it is not giving up, and it is not wanting less. It is a redirection so simple that it sounds like a trick until the night you feel it work. The short version, the one you can fall asleep holding, is this. Stop aiming at the feeling. Aim at the conditions and let the feeling arrive on its own, the way sleep is going to arrive tonight. Not because you hunted it down, but because you finally left the door open and stopped watching it. And notice the gift built into this particular night. Every other video asks something of you, even the gentle ones, some noticing, some practice, some holding of an idea. Tonight's teaching asks for less than any of them, because tonight, the entire lesson is the not doing. You cannot fail at this one. Drifting off in the middle is not missing the point. Drifting off in the middle is the point demonstrated. So let your body be heavy. Let the effort begin to stand down. And if you are new here and this kind of slow unwinding suits you, you are welcome to stay. Subscribing is the quiet way of saying so. But even that can wait. Everything can wait. Waiting itself can wait. Let us begin with the law's home territory, the place you know it from best, even if you never had its name. The pursuit of happiness, that famous phrase, carved into founding documents sold in every advertisement, assigned to all of us as the project of a lifetime. And have you noticed the strange thing about the people most visibly engaged in it? The optimizers, the curators of perfect experiences, the ones with the checklists, the bucket lists, the carefully constructed best lives. Lean in close to the most dedicated happiness pursuers you know, and so often what you find underneath is a low, persistent hum of disappointment, not because they are doing it wrong, because they are doing it at all. Watt saw the mechanism clearly. To chase happiness is to hold in your hand at all times a measurement, the gap between how you feel and how you intended to feel, and the holding of the measurement is itself an unhappiness. The very act of checking, "Am I happy yet?" requires stepping out of whatever you were doing and into the audit, and no one has ever been happy inside an audit. Happiness, it turns out, is shy in exactly the way sleep is shy. Look directly at it, and it stops. It exists only in the peripheral vision, only while your attention is genuinely on something else, the conversation, the work, the game, the person. It is not a destination. It has never once been a destination. It is the smell of bread from an oven you are not watching. And you have run the experiment yourself without meaning to, on both arms. Think of the happiest hours of your life, the actual ones, not the scheduled ones. Where were you? Almost certainly, you were absorbed in something else entirely, deep in a conversation that was supposed to be a quick call, lost in work that was going well, looking up to find 3 hours gone, laughing at something unrepeatable in a kitchen, on an ordinary night nobody had planned, playing with a child, or a dog, or an idea. The happiness was enormous, and here is the tell: you did not notice it at the time. You noticed it afterward, walking away, thinking, "That was a good evening, I was happy in there." It never announces itself during. It cannot, because during, you were not checking, and the not checking was the condition of its existence. Now think of the engineered occasions, the ones designed for happiness, the milestone birthday with its weight of expectation, the trip of a lifetime, documented so thoroughly it was barely attended, the new year that was finally going to feel different. Some were lovely, but do you remember the strange pressure in them? The faint labor of it, everyone slightly performing enjoyment, checking whether the occasion was living up to itself? That pressure was the aiming. The very importance was the interference. You have decades of this data. The unplanned kitchen beat the planned paradise over and over, and nobody ever told you why. Now you know why. The kitchen had no target on it, and the same mechanism runs through every state worth having. Peace of mind, chased, becomes vigilance, the mind patrolling itself for disturbances, which is a disturbance. Self-esteem, chased, becomes the exhausting performance of self-audit. Being interesting, chased, is the surest known route to being tiresome. And there is a calendar-sized version of the chase, the largest of all, the one psychologists call the arrival fallacy. And you will recognize it as the architecture of whole decades. When I get the degree then, when I get the job, the house, the partner, the promotion, the retirement, then I will be happy. Then I will relax. Then, finally, I will feel the way I have been postponing feeling. And what happens at every single arrival? You have arrived at several by now, so you know. A day or a week of genuine satisfaction, sometimes only an afternoon, and then the horizon quietly reassembles itself a little further out, and the then moves with it, and you are chasing again a person perpetually 6 months from their own life. It is the backwards law at the scale of a biography. Happiness deferred to a destination is happiness converted into a carrot, and carrots on sticks share one property: the stick is attached to the runner. You were never 6 months away. There was never a then. There was only ever a now with a carrot in it, and the strangest discovery of the people who finally see this is not despair, it is relief, because it means the good feeling was never locked in the future, being withheld. It has been walking beside you the entire route, available at every mile marker, waiting only for you to stop sprinting past it toward where you thought it lived. Even relaxation, the world's softest goal, hardens under pursuit. Every wellness weekend where the relaxing became a schedule, every massage spent planning, every holiday that needed a holiday to recover from. You have lived all of these. The pattern was never your personal failure. It is structural. It is what happens, always, for everyone, when a state of being is treated like an object of conquest. States are not objects. They do not stand still to be captured. They are more like wild birds, and the whole art, the entire art, is in learning that birds land on the shoulder of the person who has stopped lunging. And notice where the law presses hardest in the places that matter most, your closeness to people. Have you ever watched someone need to be liked in real time in a room? The extra laugh, the anxious agreement, the story angled for approval, and you can feel the room pulling back by inches through no cruelty, just the law operating. Neediness repels the very warmth it begs for, while the person in the corner wanting nothing from anyone has strangers drifting over all evening. You have been on both sides of that, everyone has, or the harder version, the one that costs years, trying to be loved, auditioning inside your own relationships, performing lovability, gripping the person like the swimmer grips the water, and feeling them with every squeeze, becoming slightly less holdable. The tightening hand teaches the held thing one lesson only, that it is caught, and everything alive responds to being caught the same way. And the loosened hand, the terrifying loosened hand, is the only one that ever gets chosen freely, which is the only kind of chosen that was ever worth anything. Even here, even in love, the deepest wanting of all, the law will not bend. Especially here. What is grasped strains. What is released and still stays, that is the real thing, and it can only be discovered, released. Now let me give you the law in what's his own favorite image, because he put it better than anyone before or since. Think of water. When you fall into deep water, every instinct says fight, thrash, grab, climb. And every swimmer knows what the thrashing does. It sinks you. The panicking swimmer drowns in water that would have carried them, because water has one strange rule. It holds up only what stops fighting it. To float, you must do the thing that terrifies every instinct you have. You must lie back, spread your weight, give yourself to the very element you fear, and only then, only in the surrender, does the water become solid under you. Maybe you remember learning this in your own body, as a child, in a pool or a lake somewhere. Do you remember the day floating finally worked? It could not be forced. That was the maddening thing. The adults kept saying, "Relax," and the saying did not help, and you tensed and sank, tensed and sank. And then, one afternoon, without deciding anything, tired maybe, or distracted, you leaned back, and the grip in your body forgot to engage, and the water took you. Do you remember the feeling in that instant? The shock of it, being held by nothing, by everything, the sky enormous above you, the whole panic revealed as unnecessary in 1 second of accident. Your body has carried that lesson ever since, filed deep below argument. You already know in the muscle that surrender can be load-bearing. Tonight is only asking you to remember something you learned wet decades ago, one summer, by accident. When you try to stay on the surface, Watts wrote, you sink. When you try to sink, you float. And then he said the sentence that this whole night rests on. Insecurity is the result of trying to be secure. The gripping is the drowning, the chase is the losing, and the letting go, the thing that looks like defeat from inside the panic, is the only move that was ever going to hold you up. You are in water right now, in a manner of speaking. This bed, this night, this drift towards sleep, it is all deep water, and it holds up reliably, magnificently, every single person who stops swimming in it. Rest here a moment with that image. You do not have to master it. Just notice your own body against the mattress, how much of your weight you are still, even now, faintly holding, as if the bed might need your help to carry you. It does not. Nothing tonight needs your help. That is the whole curriculum, arriving early. But you should not have to take this on poetry alone, and you do not, because when psychology finally put the backwards law under laboratory light, it found the machinery, and the machinery is beautiful and a little absurd. A researcher named Daniel Wegner ran what became one of the most famous, simple experiments in the field. He asked people to do one thing for a few minutes. Do not think about a white bear. That is the entire task. Do not think of a white bear. And you already know what happened, because you can feel it happening in your own mind right now. On cue. The white bear arrives. It arrives immediately and repeatedly, and the harder the people tried to banish it, the more often it padded back in. On average, more than once a minute. And here is the finding under the finding. The suppression itself was the summons. To not think of something, some part of your mind must hold the instruction, and the instruction contains the bear. And so a watchman is posted whose entire job is to scan for the forbidden thing, which means the forbidden thing is now being looked for constantly by your own staff. Wegener called it the ironic process. The mind that monitors for a failure manufactures the failure. Try not to worry, and the watchman scans for worry and finds candidates everywhere. Try not to think of them, and the not thinking is made entirely of them. Try to fall asleep, and a watchman is posted to check whether you are asleep yet, and the checking requires someone awake to do it. There it is, your entire insomnia in one sentence from a laboratory. The checker is the wakefulness. You have never once had trouble sleeping. You have had trouble stopping the checking. And once you know the ironic process, you see it running everywhere in your life, this fleet of well-meaning watchmen, each manufacturing the thing they were hired to prevent. Try not to be awkward at the gathering, and a watchman monitors your every sentence for awkwardness, which is the definition of awkwardness. Try not to blush. Feel the heat arrive. Try not to think about the embarrassing thing you said in a meeting years ago and enjoy its faithful midnight visits, hand-delivered by the very guard assigned to keep it out. Try desperately to forget someone and notice that the forgetting project has their name written on every document. Told to relax by someone in that tone, has it ever once worked? It cannot work. The instruction posts attention watchmen, and watchmen are tense. Even the dieter knows this law by heart, the forbidden food glowing in the mind precisely because it is forbidden, the not eating made entirely of thoughts of eating. And the modern world has industrialized the violation. Have you noticed what the wellness age actually sells? Measurement. The watch that scores your sleep so you can wake to a number and feel bad about the night, and researchers now have a name for the people whose sleep was fine until the tracker told them otherwise, whose pursuit of perfect sleep data became a fresh insomnia all its own. The apps that gamify calm, streaks for meditating, as if serenity kept score. The optimization content, morning routines of champions, 10 habits, protocols, each one converting another region of ordinary life into a performance under audit. None of it is evil. Most of it means well. But look at the shape of it with tonight's eyes. It is the checker, sold back to you as the cure for what the checker causes. An entire economy of watchmen monitoring states that die under monitoring, measuring flowers by pulling them up nightly to inspect the roots. If the age feels strangely anxious to you despite its comforts, here is one honest reason among the many. We have aimed more instruments at our own well-being than any humans in history, and well-being is the one thing that cannot bear being aimed at. Your grandmother, who tracked nothing, slept. There was information in that. None of this is weakness of will. Hear that clearly, because you have blamed your will for every one of these. It is architecture. A mind cannot enforce a negative without holding the negative, cannot patrol for a state without keeping the state's file open on the desk. The will was never weak. The strategy was impossible for everyone, always. You were assigned by nobody in particular a lifetime of tasks that cannot be done, and graded on them nightly, and the grade was never once about you. And it gets better, because psychology did not just diagnose the backwards law, it learned to use it. And the man who learned first was Viktor Frankl, the great Viennese psychiatrist, and his discovery is my favorite fact in all of tonight. Frankl noticed the loop in his patients who could not sleep. They feared sleeplessness, so they pursued sleep with everything they had. And the pursuit produced the sleeplessness, exactly as we have said. So Frankl prescribed something that sounds like a joke. He told them, "Tonight, when you go to bed, do not try to sleep. Try to stay awake. Lie there with your eyes gently closed and genuinely attempt to remain conscious as long as you can." And the patients, bless them, tried to follow the instruction and could not. They fell asleep, reliably, embarrassingly fast. The chronic insomniacs fell asleep trying not to. And it is worth knowing who this advice came from, because Frankl was no dispenser of clever tricks. He was a man who had survived the very worst the 20th century could do to a person, who had lost nearly everything a person can lose, and who emerged still convinced that the human mind, rightly understood, holds doors where it appears to hold only walls. When a man like that tells you the way out of a trap is to stop pulling against it, he has earned the sentence. His patients trusted him with their sleepless nights, and he handed them the paradox, and the paradox worked, and it has kept working for other people's nights ever since, which is its own quiet proof that the law is not philosophy decorating a problem. It is mechanics, and mechanics can be used. He called it paradoxical intention, and it has been helping sleepless people for the better part of a century. And look at why it works. Because it is pure backwards law. The moment the goal flips, the watchman changes jobs. There is no longer any need to check whether sleep is arriving, because sleep is no longer the assignment. The performance anxiety evaporates, the monitoring stands down, and into the space where all that trying used to be, the body's oldest automatic process, unwatched at last, simply proceeds. I am not prescribing anything tonight. That is not what this place is for. But I will point out, quietly, that you are welcome, any night you like, to stop trying to sleep. To make your whole ambition lying here comfortably awake, resting, listening. It is the one ambition in the world that cannot cost you anything. Fail at it, and you have slept. And Frankl's flip works far beyond the pillow, because performance anxiety of every kind is the backwards law wearing a tuxedo. The toast you had to give, rehearsed into rigidity, delivered like a hostage statement, while the offhand remark you made afterward, aiming at nothing, was the line everyone repeated. The date that mattered too much, where you attended as your own anxious publicist instead of as yourself. The advice everyone gives and no one can use, just be yourself, which fails for a reason you can now name. Because trying to be yourself installs a self-watchman, and a watched self is a performed self, and a performed self is precisely not yourself. The people we experience as naturally confident are not people with more willpower aimed at confidence. They are people who happen not to be aiming at it, whose attention is out on the task, the conversation, the road, rather than in on the reviews. Confidence is not a possession. It is the absence of self-audit, which is why it cannot be built directly, only uncovered, every time the audit goes quiet. You have been fully confident thousands of times in your life and never once noticed, because noticing is the one thing confidence cannot survive. It was there whenever you were absorbed. It will be there again the moment the reviewer sits down. You do not lack it. You surveil it away. So the law is real, measured, mapped. The question worth a slow night is why we keep breaking it, and the answer is almost sympathetic. Effort is the best tool most of us were ever given. It works on almost everything. Push the stone and the stone moves. Study and the grade rises. Train and the muscle grows. Grip the hammer harder and the nail goes in straighter. Everything in the outer world answers to directed force, and so we grow up, all of us, with one master strategy, and it serves us so well that we never notice its boundary. And it has a boundary. It is exactly here. The moment you turn from the world of objects to the world of states, from things you can hold to ways you can feel, the tool reverses. Force moves stones and scatters birds. And nobody tells us. There is no class where they sit you down and say, "Child, there are two kinds of wanting, and the second kind works backwards." So we arrive at adulthood magnificent at pushing and baffled that our insides will not be pushed, applying the hammer to the water year after year, wondering why we are wet and nothing is built. You have not been foolish all this time. You have been using the only tool anyone ever handed you in the one territory where it cannot work. And spare a moment of real tenderness for the kind of person this law is hardest on, because it is you, and it is most of the people listening to a video like this one. The triers, the capable ones, the people whose entire identity was built with good reason on the fact that effort works, that they are the kind of person who can push through, figure out, make happen. The backwards law is almost merciful to the lazy. They break it less, having less momentum to break it with. But the competent, the conscientious, the ones who fixed everything else in their lives by trying harder, they arrive at the inner territory with the strongest hammer and the deepest faith in it, and so they suffer the law's full force. If you have ever wondered why you, who can do so many difficult things, cannot seem to do these supposedly simple ones, relax, cheer up, drift off, let go. Here is the answer at last, and it is the opposite of an insult. You fail at these precisely because you are so good at everything else. Your strength is your interference. The same driven excellence that built your life stands in the doorway of your rest, still holding its hammer, asking for something to hit. There is nothing to hit in here. The skills that made your days successful were never going to make your nights peaceful, not because you were broken, but because peace was never a task. And you, magnificent taskmaster, have been assigned at last to a country with no tasks in it. There is an old story from the Taoist tradition, older than Watts by many centuries, that draws the boundary perfectly. An archer, the story goes, was flawless when he practiced for nothing. Every arrow flew true. Then a competition was announced with a prize of brass, and shooting for brass, his hands grew slightly clever, and he shot well, but not perfectly. And then a prize of gold was offered, and shooting for gold, the archer could barely hit the target at all. Same bow, same arm, same 10,000 hours of skill. The skill had not gone anywhere, but now he saw two things when he drew the bow, the target and the prize, and the prize split him. Part of his mind aimed while part of his mind wanted, and an archer divided is no archer. The need to win, the old text says, drains the power. You have felt this in 100 small ways. The joke lands until the room matters too much. The words flow until the reader is imagined judging. The interview goes beautifully in the shower and stiffens in the chair, because in the chair you are shooting for gold. Wanting the outcome too hard is a weight to the arrow. And every state you have chased, calm, sleep, love, joy, has been a target seen past a prize, aimed at by a divided archer, wondering where the old effortless aim went. It went nowhere. It is still in you. It returns the moment the prize is set down. The Taoists had a name for the skill on the far side of this, and it is worth carrying even though it translates badly. Wu Wei, they called it, often rendered as non-action, which makes it sound like lying in a hammock, and it is nothing of the kind. It means action without forcing. Action that moves with the grain of things instead of against it. The difference between the rower and the sailor. The rower fights for every yard, all effort, all strain, magnificent and exhausted, and the rowing works slowly at the price of the rower. The sailor studies the same water, reads the wind, sets the sail at the one correct angle, and then does almost nothing, and the boat flies. Is the sailor passive? The sailor is the opposite of passive, alert, engaged, endlessly responsive. But the power moving the boat is not the sailor's power, and the sailor's genius is precisely in not supplying what the wind supplies free. That is Wu Wei. That is the gardener walking away, the archer without a prize, the floater lying back. Every craft has its version. The best surgeons are unhurried. The best comedians do not push the joke. The strongest voices do not shout. Watch true mastery anywhere, in anything, and what you always see at the center of it is a strange economy. the master doing visibly less than the struggling apprentice, because the master has learned in their bones which half of the work was theirs and has entirely stopped doing the other half. Falling asleep is a craft, too. You have been rowing at it. Tonight, notice the wind was always blowing toward the shore you wanted every single night. And the entire skill was the sail. Are you still with me or drifting? Either is exactly right, and tonight of all nights, the drifting is the better grade. If you are still here, we have arrived at the turn, the practical turn, because a law this deep needs an answer to the obvious question. If chasing pushes everything away, what are we supposed to do? Want nothing? Lie flat and hope the good things wander in? No, the backwards law does not ask you to stop wanting. It asks you to stop aiming at feelings and start tending conditions. That is the entire redirection, and it changes everything while looking like almost nothing. Here is the shape of it. Every state you want has conditions, soil it grows from, and the conditions, unlike the state, answer beautifully to direct effort. You cannot make yourself happy, but you can call the friend, take the walk, do the absorbing work, and happiness tends to be found loitering around exactly those activities, arriving while you are busy, precisely because you are busy. You cannot force calm, but you can slow your out-breath. Put the phone in the other room, sit with the tea while it is hot, and calm tends to condense on those surfaces like dew, not summoned, just likelier. You cannot demand love or connection, but you can be present, ask the real question, listen without rehearsing your reply, and warmth walks in through those doors at its own pace, and it is real when it does, because nothing auditioned for it. And you cannot chase down sleep, tonight or any night, but you can do everything that sleep loves. The dark room, the warm bed, the slowed breath, the voice murmuring on about psychology, rest, comfort, stillness. All of these are directly achievable. All of them answer to gentle effort. And sleep is simply what happens sooner or later, always eventually, in their vicinity. Aim at rest, which cannot be failed at, instead of sleep, which cannot be aimed at. That single substitution, honestly practiced, ends the war with the night. Not sometimes, structurally, because you have replaced a goal you cannot control with conditions you fully can, and the backwards law has nothing left to punish. Think of it as becoming a gardener instead of a hunter, because the gardener is the whole model. Have you ever seen a gardener chase a tomato, stand in the rows demanding fruit, gripping the vine, checking hourly? The idea is absurd, and yet it is precisely how you have pursued your inner states for decades. The gardener knows the strange truth at the center of growing things, which is that the growing itself is entirely out of their hands. No gardener has ever grown anything, not really. They tend soil, they water, they position things toward the sun, and then this is the skill the whole craft rests on. They walk away, and the growing happens in their absence. All of it, every time. The tending is theirs. The growing is not. And they do not experience this as helplessness. That is the beautiful part. They experience it as partnership, the oldest one there is. Half the work is yours, the half with dirt on it, the conditions, the watering, the walking away. Half the work is life's, the germination, the ripening, the arriving, and life has never once missed its shift. Every state you have chased is a growing thing. Happiness, calm, love, sleep, all fruit, none of it grippable, all of it growable. So the question of any evening stops being, how do I make myself feel the thing, and becomes the gardener's question, humbler and infinitely more answerable. What can I water tonight? And then the harder half of the skill, the walking away. You have just done the watering, by the way. This hour was the watering. What remains is only the walking away. And you are lying down already, which is the best possible posture for it. And if you doubt that sleep belongs to the category of things that arrive rather than things that are achieved, watch the experts. Watch a baby fall asleep, mid-meal sometimes, mid-sentence of babble, in rooms full of noise, against shoulders, in car seats, effortlessly, anywhere, constantly. Nobody has taught the baby a single technique. The baby has no protocol, no wind-down routine, no opinion about sleep at all. And that last item is the entire secret. No opinion. Sleep, for the baby, is not important, not a performance, not a resource to be managed. And so it arrives like weather whenever conditions allow. Watch a dog by the fire, a cat in a sunbeam, masters, every one, all of them holding the same qualification, which is no qualification whatsoever. Now here is the question worth falling asleep on. You were one of them. You, personally, were once the world's leading expert at falling asleep, undefeated for years, and you did not lose the ability. Abilities do not work that way. You buried it under opinions, under importance, under 2 decades of information about how much sleep matters and what happens without it. The expert is still in there, underneath the education. Every night that you manage to put down the importance, even part way, even for an hour, you are not learning something new. You are excavating the oldest skill you own, the one from before you knew anything, which was exactly when you were best at this. And learn to catch the checker, because the checker is the whole disease in miniature. The glance inward, am I calm yet? Is it working? Am I close to sleep? Every check is a small act of aiming, and you now know what aiming does. So when you notice the checker at work tonight, and you will, it has been employed for years. You do not need to fight it. Fighting the checker is checking on the checker, the bear all over again. You just notice there is the measuring, and let the measurement go unread. The bird cannot be watched onto your shoulder. The water cannot be gripped into holding you. At some point, and it can be this point, the hands simply open. Not as a technique, but the way a fist opens when you stop being interested in what it was holding. The states you want have been waiting out there the whole time, none of them lost, none of them withheld as punishment, all of them simply unable to land on a lunging man. Stop lunging, and the air fills with wings, and ask yourself gently, here, where nothing costs anything, the night's own questions. What have you chased hardest in your one life so far? Which state has your longest pursuit on record? The happiness, the calm, the being enough, the sleep. How many years does that chase have on its clock now? And what has it actually returned, honestly audited, held against everything it consumed? Has the chased thing come closer over all those miles, or has it kept its exact distance, like a horizon, like a carrot, like the moon following your car? And the harder question, the one that opens the door, do you remember any moment, even one, when the thing you chase arrived on its own, unpursued, in some unguarded hour? You do. Everyone does. There was an evening, a walk, a morning once, when the peace you hunt everywhere simply turned up, unannounced, while you were aiming at nothing at all. What does that one memory prove? It proves the thing exists, that it knows your address, that it visits voluntarily, and that its visits and your chasing have never once coincided. That memory is not an exception to your life. It is the instruction manual for it, 1 page long, delivered years ago, waiting all this time to be read. While the body listens, run one small inventory, the grip scan, because the chase lives in muscles as much as in thoughts. Where are you holding? Right now, check the jaw first, the chase's favorite address, teeth resting together a little too firmly for a person doing nothing. Let them part. Check the hands. Are the fingers curled around the edge of something? The blanket themselves. Open them. Check the breath. Has it been supervised tonight, managed, slightly held? The breath of someone braced for a result? Let one exhale out longer than usual, and do not manage the next inhale at all. Let it arrive when it wants. It knows when. Check the forehead, the eyes behind their lids, still faintly aimed, still pointed at the inside of the dark, like they are looking for something. Nothing needs finding. Let the eyes go soft in their sockets, unfocused, unemployed. Every one of these small releases is the backwards law practiced in flesh, the only place it can really be practiced, because the chase was never an idea, it was a posture, and postures, unlike ideas, can simply be set down, one muscle at a time, which is what you are doing now, which is why the bed is starting to feel deeper than it did an hour ago. One more distinction belongs in your keeping, because without it, the whole teaching can curdle into something it is not. Letting go of the chase is not letting go of the wanting. You are allowed to want deeply, all of it. The happiness, the love, the peace, the sleep. Wanting is not the problem and never was. Wanting is just aliveness with a direction. The problem is a particular grip on the wanting, the clench that turns a preference into a demand, an opening into an ultimatum. Feel the difference in your own chest, because it is physical. I would love to sleep well tonight. That sentence sits lightly. It leaves the night unbullied. It can coexist with lying awake. I must sleep tonight. that sentence has knuckles. Same want, different grip. And the grip is the entire difference between a person at peace with their desires and a person held hostage by them. The old traditions called the light version wishing and the heavy version craving. And they noticed what you can verify tonight, that the world responds to the two completely differently, not because the world is mystical, but because the clench changes you, your reach, your breath, your presence, the pressure you put on every room and every hour. So keep every want you have. Hold each one the way you would hold a bird you were releasing, firmly enough to carry, loosely enough that the carrying does no harm, and with the hand already half open because the whole point of carrying it was always the letting go. There is one more turn, the deepest one, and then the night can have you. Because under all the particular chases, the happiness chase, and the calm chase, and the sleep chase, Watts saw one master chase running, the one they are all disguises for. The chase for security. The demand that life hold still, that the ground be permanent, that what you love be guaranteed, that tomorrow be promised, before you agree to enjoy tonight. And his deepest teaching, the one that made him worth reading a lifetime later, is that this chase is the most backwards of all, because the security being chased does not exist, has never existed for anyone, anywhere, at any price. Life is a river, everything moving, everything passing, and there are exactly two ways to be in a river. You can grip, clutching at the water, exhausting yourself against the one thing water will never do, which is hold still. Or you can float and be carried and discover the enormous secret hiding inside the obvious, that you were never holding the river in place anyway. The river was holding you. All that gripping was ceremonial. The carrying was happening regardless, underneath, the whole time, the way this bed has been carrying you all night, whether or not you helped. Security is not the river stopping. Security is finding out you float. And look at your own history with the river's eyes. One time, because you carry the proof of this everywhere and never count it. Every good thing in your life that actually lasted, how did it arrive? Trace them honestly. The person you love most, did you capture them with a plan, or did they wander into an ordinary day through a door you did not know was open while you were busy being yourself? The friendships that held, were they networked into existence, or did they accrete, laugh by laugh, without either of you ever deciding? The work you are proudest of, the turns your life took that turned out to be the right ones, the healings, the arrivals, run the full inventory and be honest about the bookkeeping. The engineered things mostly wobbled. The best things mostly wandered in. You have been fighting the river your whole life, while the river quietly delivered to your exact door nearly everything you now cannot imagine living without. It was never a fair fight, and you were never the one winning it. And the astonishing news buried in that sentence is that you never needed to be. The carrying has a track record. It is longer and better than the grippings. Tonight, you are not being asked to trust something untested. You are being asked to notice what has been holding you up the entire time you were busy swimming. Are you drifting yet? Good. If so, go. And if you are still here, one small, honest thing before the water takes over. Even tonight, even during this very video, you have probably checked once or twice, is it working? Am I sleepier yet? Of course you have. The checker does not retire in an evening, it has tenure, it has decades of service. Let it check. Even the checking can be floated on, noticed, allowed, unfought, one more leaf on the surface of the river. The teaching is not that you must stop checking, that would just be one more thing to try hard at, one more white bear. The teaching is that none of it, the checking, the trying, even the trying not to try, none of it can sink you. The water does not require your technique to be correct. It holds bad floaters exactly as well as good ones. That is the final mercy of the backwards law, the trapdoor at the bottom of every instruction in this video. You cannot even fail at letting go, because the river carries the ones who never let go too. It just carries them tired. The only thing on offer tonight was the rest, and carry the law home to the people you love, because it governs them too, and knowing it will make you gentler in every room of your life. You cannot force a child to sleep. Every parent alive has run that experiment. The insistence tightening the small body, the pleading feeding the wakefulness. And every parent has also seen the other thing, the child who finally drifts off mid-story, mid-protest, the moment the pressure lifts and the room stops needing anything from them. You cannot argue a worried person into calm. You have tried. The calm down that never once calmed anyone. And you have perhaps felt the alternative work, the night you stopped fixing and simply sat with them, wanting nothing, and their breathing slowed all on its own, matching yours, because your unforced presence was a condition and your advice was a chase. You cannot demand that someone open up or heal on schedule or love you at the pace of your need, and every attempt teaches the same lesson at their expense and yours. But you can be the garden. You can be the one person in someone's life who applies no pressure, holds no stopwatch, checks no progress. And if you have ever wondered why people go quiet and easy around certain rare individuals, why children fall asleep on certain laps and confessions choose certain kitchens, it is this: those people are walking conditions. Nothing grasps in their company, so everything relaxes in it. You have known one or two of them. Tonight, you know how they are made, and that they are made, not born, one released grip at a time. And be kind to yourself about the seasons when the gripping comes back, because it will come back. There are stretches of life that put the hammer in everyone's hand. The deadline weeks, the frightened months, the new love you cannot bear to lose, the hard nights of a hard year. And in those stretches you will find yourself chasing again, checking again, holding your own breath again. And the old voice will want to make that a failure too, will want you to try harder at not trying, which you can now hear for the perfect nonsense it is. Let the seasons be seasons. The law does not punish relapse. That is the beauty of a law over a technique. It simply waits, patient as water, for the moment in each day, each night, each grip, when your hand gets tired of being a fist. That moment always comes. Hands are not built to stay closed any more than nights are built to stay sleepless. And every time the opening happens, however late, however briefly, everything this video promised begins again, immediately, without grudge, because the river holds no grudges. It has been holding no grudges for your whole life. You could not exhaust its willingness to carry you if you tried, and you have tried, and here you still are, carried. So let the day's aims dissolve now, all of them. There is nothing left tonight that improves by being wanted harder. Your hands first, wherever they are, let them open completely. Nothing tonight requires a grip. Your shoulders, which have been braced all day for outcomes, let them fall. The outcomes will arrive or not arrive identically either way. That is the strange mercy of it. Your jaw, where the trying lives, where the day's efforts were clenched, soft now. And that fine attention of yours, the checker, the measurer, the aimer, it can stand down entirely. Tonight has no target. If it must do something, let it float, drifting from the sound of this voice to the weight of the blanket, to the slow tide of your own breathing, landing nowhere, needing nothing. A bird with the whole dark sky and no shoulder it has to reach. And if it helps to make the setting down ceremonial, do this as the last deliberate act of your day. Gather tonight's aims, the ones you carried to bed. Sleep well, feel better, figure it out, be less like this and more like that, and picture setting each one on the surface of the river, the way you would set paper boats. You are not throwing them away. Hear the difference. Boats are not garbage. They are cargo you have stopped carrying personally. The wanting to sleep, set it on the water. It will travel the night beside you without needing your hands. The wanting to be happier, on the water. The whole fleet of your improvements, your projects, your postponed thens, all of it can sail along in loose formation while you float, unburdened, in the middle of your little navy. Nothing is lost this way. Everything you set down keeps traveling in the same direction you are traveling, because you and everything you want are in the same river, moving with the same current, and morning collects the whole fleet on the same shore. The carrying was never required for the arriving. That was the secret all along. The boats float too, and imagine, briefly, tomorrow lived a single degree more sideways, because that is all the law ever asks. 1 degree. You wake, and before the day starts demanding, there is a moment, there is always that one moment, and instead of reaching for the phone and the first assignment, you let the moment be unassigned. At some point in the morning, the old reflex fires the check. How am I doing? Is today going well? And you notice it, and you smile at it if you can. The old watchman still making rounds, and you go back to whatever you are actually doing, and the doing gets your whole attention. And somewhere in that absorbed hour, unwatched, the good feeling grazes past like a cat, exactly as it always does when nobody is looking at it. At some point, you want something, and you catch the knuckles whitening around the want, and you loosen them, just 1 degree, from demand back to preference, and the day breathes easier for it. Nothing dramatic. Nobody watching your life would see a difference. But you would feel it by evening. The strange spaciousness of a day not spent mid-lunge, and by the next bedtime, the strangest change of all, a bed that has stopped being a workplace. That is where this road goes. Not to a life without wanting, to a life where the wanting has finally stopped biting its own tail. And here is a small confession offered at the edge of sleep, where confessions belong. This video was built on the law it teaches. Every choice in it, the unhurried pace, the long sentences that ask nothing, the ideas that circle back like slow water. All of it was designed so that nothing in this hour would give your effort anywhere to land. You cannot study this properly. It will not hold still for study. You cannot fail it. It has no test. It was made to be half-heard, made for exactly the drifting you may be doing now, because the teaching and the telling had to agree, and they do. Somewhere in the last hour, without being asked, your grip has been loosening, notch by notch, not because you tried to loosen it. Trying does not loosen grips, but because nothing here required it to stay closed. That was the whole design. The lesson was never in the words. The words were just something soft for your attention to hold while the letting go happened underneath, the way a parent gives a child something to carry, so the child forgets to be afraid on the dark stairs. And so we end where we began, with you lying here, no longer trying, or trying less, which is enough. It is always enough. Gather the night's small images around you loosely like blankets, and hold none of them tightly, tonight of all nights. The swimmer who stopped thrashing and floated. The white bear who only visits when banished. The insomniacs who slept the moment sleep stopped being the assignment. The archer, undivided once the gold was set down. The gardener, walking away from the growing. The sailor, doing almost nothing, flying. The paper boats, carrying every aim you set down, traveling beside you toward the same morning. One of these will still be with you at breakfast. You do not get to choose which, and that too is the law, and that too is fine. There was never anything wrong with your wanting. Happiness, calm, love, rest. They were always the right things to want, wanted by everyone who ever lived. The only error was the aim, the hammer brought to water, the direct pursuit of things that only ever arrive sideways. Tonight, you learned the law. The harder you chase, the further it runs, and its gentle inverse the entire hope of it. What you stop chasing wanders back. The happiness returns in the middle of some ordinary absorbed afternoon. The calm condenses in the unwatched moments. The love lands on the still shoulder, and the sleep tonight arrives in its own soft time to a person who has finally, truly stopped waiting up for it. And hold, at the very end, the gentlest implication of the whole law, the one hiding under all the mechanics. If the best things arrive as byproducts, then the best things cannot be earned, and if they cannot be earned, then they were never being withheld from you as a judgment. Do you hear what that undoes? All those years you read your restlessness as a verdict, the missing piece as evidence of your insufficiency, the elusive happiness as something you had failed to qualify for. But nobody qualifies for byproducts. The rain does not check credentials. Sleep comes to the deserving and the undeserving identically, to saints and scoundrels in the same soft way, the moment either one stops chasing it. The good things were never on the far side of your self-improvement. They were never waiting for the better version of you to show up and collect them. They were only ever waiting for the current version, this one, tonight's, tired and unimproved and entirely sufficient to stop running long enough to be caught up with. You are being caught up with right now. Can you feel it? That heaviness is not failure arriving, it is everything you chased, finally able to reach a person who has stopped moving. So there is nothing to accomplish in what remains of tonight. The trying is over and it was never helping. There is nothing to monitor. The checker is off duty and the night runs itself and always did. There is no prize hanging over this bed. No gold, no brass, no grade for how quickly or deeply you sleep, and the archer, undivided at last, cannot miss what he is no longer aiming at. And there is no security left to chase. You are in the river. You have always been in the river, and look, all this time, without one bit of your help, it has been carrying you. You do not have to hold on tonight. Holding on was never what kept you safe. You do not have to earn the rest ahead. Byproducts cannot be earned, only allowed. And you do not have to try anymore at anything. For hours and everything you were trying for will come nearer in the not trying than all the trying ever brought it. That is the law. It has been waiting your whole life to work in your favor. From here on, it does. If you would like to leave something here before you sleep, leave a single word in the comments. The word float. Nothing else. A small vow from one tired swimmer among many, that you are done thrashing in water that was always going to hold you, done chasing what lands by itself, and it stays here for the next person who arrives at this hour mid-chase, checking the clock, doing the arithmetic, so they can see how many people set the effort down and were carried. And if these slow nights are becoming a place you return to, you can subscribe and be here for the next one. Quietly, no fanfare. The lamp stays lit either way. But that is out there, in the world of aims and mornings, and you are done with that world for today. For now there is only the water, the bed holding you without being asked, the breath breathing itself as it has all night, unsupervised, perfectly. The thoughts, lighter now, passing like leaves on the river's surface, none of them needing to be caught. Let the last of the trying dissolve into the dark where it goes when it is finished. You are not swimming anymore. You never needed to be. Floating was always allowed. Floating was always the answer. And the river, patient, unhurried, older than every effort ever made against it, is carrying you now gently, exactly where you were trying so hard to go. Rest now, floating one. The water has you. Sleep well.